Kansas City Wellness Club show. This is our first show that we're offering here, bringing you folks information. Our intention here is to create these type of show formats and bring in special guests, experts, influencers, those in the industry that can help guide you during this time, as well as our staff who are very well versed and at your disposal, ready to help serve and guide you as well. My name's Heath Wessling. I'm the owner here at the Kansas City Wellness Club, and I'm really thrilled to be hosting today's show for you. I want to provide a few updates on the administrative front with some events that are coming up that the Wellness Club will be doing before we bring in our special guest today. First off, we have some really things planned for you folks. Number one, we are really happy to be starting up yoga classes next week here on site. I know a lot of yoga studios aren't quite open yet, and we feel that it is time to start giving those folks like yourself who are ready to start getting out and breathing and practicing yoga, practicing fitness, an opportunity and a space to do that. And boy, do we have one of the best spaces to offer that environment, that safe, welcoming, comfortable, spacious environment here in the historic, glamorous Kansas City Club building that has rooms that are very generous, very beautiful, very glamorous, and provide you a lot of breathing room to practice your yoga session. And I know we've done some posts on that recently and tried to highlight that, but I want to make sure everybody knows starting next Tuesday, the Kansas City Wellness Club will be offering on-site yoga classes. So get excited about that. We're excited for it. We're also going to be participating and being a vendor at the Wild Women Timber Challenge, which is something that we've never done before. It looks really cool. This is done out at Zip KC west of Kansas City. It looks like quite a obstacle course. This one particularly is for women, being that it's called the Wild Women Timber Challenge. I think a matter of ropes and going through trails and fording rivers and using team building skills. So we're going to have a team from our own wellness club of women on this course that I'm going to challenge is probably going to be the front runners to win the whole obstacle. And we're also going to have a vendor booth there as well, so you can learn more about us at that time. So that's on Sunday, Sunday, June 28th. And you can find more information about that through Zip KC, the Wild Women Timber Challenge. We will also be posting that to our website as well. We're also thrilled to announce, this is something recent that we are just announcing right now, a 4th of July event. And I know 4th of July is taking on a different form this year for varying reasons. A lot of folks may be staying close to home. We are going to offer an event in the morning from 9 a.m. to noon at Loose Park. It's going to be a family picnic style type of event. We're going to have a few different activities there for all ages. For adults, we're going to have a yoga session starting at 9:30, so yoga in the park in the beautiful Loose Park area. While that's going on, we're going to have an offering for kids. We're looking to get a face painter there. We're looking to get some kid mindfulness type of workshop happening there, so kids can be led through a wellness and mindfulness type of introduction for themselves and get it presented to them in a fun, engaging way. After the yoga's done, we're going to have a public reading of the Declaration of Independence. So how often can you say you go to a 4th of July event and you get to hear the Declaration of Independence read to you from start to finish? I'm guessing it's probably not too often, but we have done this before. We did this last year actually. It takes around 10 to 15 minutes. It doesn't take very long. And it's pretty inspiring. It's quite an emotional opportunity to hear what was being said by the birth of our country, by those who were thinking that we needed to break apart and be an independent and free group of states. So we're going to have a reading of the Declaration of Independence. Then we're going to talk to you a little bit more about what the Wellness Club is about, what the Kansas City Club is about, where we're at, where we're going. And then we want to open it up to you all. There's a lot of need for community. There's a lot of repressed ability to ask questions and open forums for people. And we want to provide you the opportunity to ask any question on your mind about the times of today, the adversity that's going on right now, give you a chance to hear what others are thinking, give you a chance to hear what the Wellness Club believes should be the main principles towards guiding you during this moment, during these times, and help you relate it to today in the context of the 4th of July and what I feel is always a day that truly unites everybody. That's one day a year where nothing else matters other than our unity around being Americans. So we're really thrilled about that event, and we'll be posting more information about that on our website, kcwellnessclub.com, and on our social media handles, which is @KCWellnessClub. So we'll be posting our video today out as well to those sites, as well as to our YouTube channel. So please stay tuned in there. There's a lot more to come. As I mentioned, this is our first talk show. We're going to be bringing you folks a lot more education. We're pretty thrilled to do that. So, with that being said, I believe our guest for today just arrived. Let's go ahead and bring in and introduce Dr. Zac Lyons for us today. Zac, you want to come on in?
Yeah.
Great to see you, brother. Give you a hug.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're voices here wherever possible. So welcome to the Kansas City Wellness Club. Zac, I want to introduce you hopefully in a way that honors you as the many titles that you do hold for the passions that you pursue: healer, being a teacher, being a coach. I've been really thrilled to and love the relationship that we've established personally and what we hope to do professionally here with getting you to perform some chiropractic healer, teacher, coach services here. Welcome, and I want to give you an opportunity to say hello, any of that you'd like.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I don't really have too much to add in terms of that to start. Just that those are my passions. I love helping people change the context that they live in, to open up to be able to share more love and more awareness and more presence with everybody in their lives. And that's what moves me. That's what speaks to me. So.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Well, this is coming off the heels of Zac adding to our blog that we started. So that's another medium that we created for you folks to help bring you updates from the club, talk to you about where we're at, where we're going. So I posted one out there about a week ago to kick things off, and we added Zac's blog about midweek here a few days ago. And we're going to be talking a lot about what Zac is speaking to in that blog and overlap that with his passion. So we'll be getting into that, but I want to encourage everybody, go out to kcwellnessclub.com, go to our section that talks about our wellness blog and see what we have out there, because there's going to be a lot of very insightful commentary being posted out there by people who work here, contributors into what the Wellness Club is all about. So, yeah, you know, I led into you thought that was a good introduction, but I think it would help to hear some of the passion for chiropractic that you have, and how that passion goes well beyond maybe the traditional realm of chiropractic services, so people can understand and see you as the full persona that you are, other than just relate to you to the doctor credential that you have and to your main chiropractic type of certification or credential.
Yeah, happy. Yeah, so for me, I got into chiropractic because I wanted the opportunity to share a wide range of things. At the time, it was I was interested in diet and exercise. And that's kind of where the journey started. I was a big athlete my whole life, played college football, played basketball throughout high school, and then track, and so just moving and being active was always important to me. But along with that, I got hurt a lot. A couple big injuries, broke my leg really bad when I was little, broke my arm, my face, different things.
Jeez.
And so kind of it was through my own healing journey of like how to get myself better that I started to pursue those things. And it started off with personal training, and then one day my mom was like, hey, what about chiropractic? Like, even started going when I was 6. So I broke my leg and it kind of threw my hips off, and I was like, that's interesting. Let's explore that.
Okay.
And so yeah, so it was the first thing that really got me to commit to like really showing up for my classwork and really like moving forward, and yeah, my being said yes in a way that I hadn't said yes to anything yet in my life, in terms of transitioning into a career or a vocation. And yeah, in terms of my practice, I have a much different style of chiropractic practice than most people. It truly is a holistic practice in that I look at your mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical bodies every time I see you. I don't see one as being separate than the other. When you come in with hip pain, as I found with lots of people, there's a mental, emotional component about that. Usually there's, a fear or a sadness or a hurt that you're holding there as well, and then they surround an abandonment wound or some sort of trauma, and now you have these stories around it. And so those stories, while being expressed through physical pain, if we don't acknowledge and meet your mind and your emotions, the way the rest of you has responded to that event, I feel like I'm really selling you short by just like focusing on your hip. You'll get to a certain point, but it's always going to be there. There's always going to be more because I ignored the 3/4 of your being and what they had to share about that transformation, or what that event really meant for you. I don't think those things happen by circumstance. I think they're there as a gift, and I try to help you change the context you see it in and the way you relate to it, so that you can actually unpack all those gifts in the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual realm, because I have no idea what's there. We just drop in and listen and talk and explore, and it always reveals itself, and then we have a path to take. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's fun.
Well, I love the holistic side of it. I love how you do approach it in a multi-dimensional way. And then I also love how you say in this blog that you empower someone to step inside the truth of your role as your own healer, your own hero, your own creator, your own lover. And you literally say, I have a goal of ending my relationship with you as soon as possible, which to me translates into self-sufficiency. Is that what you're trying to get
Yeah,
across
without
there?
question. I mean, the quote that says it best is through Jesus, is you teach a man, or give a man a fish, he eats for a day, teach a man a fish, he eats for a lifetime. That's kind of the underlying essence of the practice, is that I want to teach you how to catch your own fish. I want to teach you how to know how to turn on your own healing energy, be with your emotional states, choose and have awareness of like which thoughts and beliefs lead you closer to your truth and which lead you further away, and then how to connect to God or oneness or spirit, whatever that is to you, so that you can be as vital and alive and as self-sufficient as possible. I think that that's really what a healer and a coach and a teacher is to me, is someone who hears what you're going through and reflects it back to you in a way that allows you to see that the power is in you, that all the changes you want, that you're going to this person for, you're taking this class for, you're doing these things for, is to build the internal resource states that you realize your innate power and potential as a human being.
I love that. Because sometimes that may not be good for business, right? When you're trying to say, I want to end my relationship with you. So I feel that was when I truly knew that you were an authentic person out with the right intentions, is that you truly are candid with that up front, that you do want to look towards the end of that relationship. That should be the goal, where you are self-sufficient, that you don't need Dr. Zac Lyons' services.
Absolutely.
You also talk about, quote, transforming the perspective of
one's own life from a limited view into a broader, more optimistic view. And I wonder if you could elaborate more on that piece, especially around the optimism part. Is because you think that limited view a lot of times is pessimistic? And is that just innate to the human nature? Is that because maybe there's a lot of forces out today that broadcast more negative news or feelings than positive, uplifting, optimistic reports?
Yeah. I think that it's both. We definitely, the world around us today highlights the negative. So there is an aspect of things going on that drives us in that direction. Yeah, in terms of the limited point of view, anytime we're stuck in, pain, suffering, trauma, feeling less than, feeling like a victim, we could go on and on. From a limited point of view, we're not seeing all of ourselves as possible. And the optimism isn't really something that is pushed, it's something that's revealed. I don't have to create the optimism for you. It lets you, step out of the box or open the door or do those things and see that there's a lot more possible here, there's a lot more possible here. In me, the optimism, the courage for it shows up, it's underlying the limited point of view. And that's why the pain comes, the pain or the pressure or the suffering is because it's trying to wake you up to say, hey, there's so much more. Quit living here, quit existing from this way of holding yourself, from this way of breathing, from this way of thinking, this way of moving, this way of believing. Expand us more joy, more ease, more creativity, more prosperity, etc.
So through the self-discoveries, through the self-awareness of the capacity for more self-realization, naturally will produce optimism in someone's. That makes sense.
Yeah, because you're letting go of tension, and you're letting go of limited beliefs, false beliefs, to find a deeper truth, both about yourself and about the universe at large. And that generally creates clarity, and that creates freedom. And most people feel really good in clarity and freedom. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's terrific. And I think that aligns really well with what the Wellness Club is about as well, is the realizing the full potential of your innate divine soul, and everything that you are called here to be, all the making sure those are something that you realize and something that you feel confident in giving to the world, to complement what we receive from the world.
Absolutely.
We talked about those negative emotions. It does seem like there's a lot of fear out there today, and anytime we can spread more help or compassion or humor, that's going to offset the emotions and energies that fear is and does bring to someone's life, right? Maybe on that note, recognizing that awareness, harnessing it, knowing how to transform that energy. I want to ask you about what you mentioned in your blog about the letting go method. I heard you say that we as humans carry physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual tension in our bodies. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but first just explain, what is the letting go method? What is that about?
Yeah, self-explanatory. It's about surrender. It's about letting go of the attachment that you have to the pain, the suffering, the belief, etc., the physical sensation that is showing up as pain, whatever. So, to walk through it, it's real simple. You learn to bring awareness to it. It's always step one. And you learn to feel it fully without judging it, criticizing it, making it go away. You try to just make a space for it to be there. And you let it expand, get more room for it. Then you bring it to multiple parts of your body, which is a really interesting concept. So for me, I guide you into bringing it into your hands. So say you have an intense shooting pain in your shoulder. You close your eyes and you bring that same tension, that same intensity, that same shooting into your hands. And then you go through a little simple dialogue of, okay, am I willing to feel this fully? Am I willing to let this pain or this suffering or this belief go? and when. And then generally, if you're ready, you just kind of open your hands and you'll feel this little drop. Because once you're holding your hands tight like this for a while, it starts to build up. And you're like almost this, it's that little literal physical sensation of dropping something. So, yeah.
When you say surrender, I wonder, some people may wonder, what does it mean to surrender? And the way I think about it, tell me if this is a good description, is you're surrendering to the fact that fighting those emotions is not going to help you get through those emotions better. It's not going to help you process those emotions. So you're surrendering to the fact that those emotions exist, and does it mean you're letting go to the resistance, and you're instead just acknowledging that, hey, those emotions happen. I can't stop those from happening. It's more of how do I then work with that energy of that emotion to redirect it a different direction, to a different place, and maybe even turn it into a learning opportunity for me. Is that?
Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
I'll answer that in two ways. The first way is to think of it like you're floating down a river, and you come up to like a tree out into it, and you hang onto the tree. At first, it's going to be really easy. The longer you hang onto that tree, even if it's just a small current, it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder and harder to hold on, more and more painful. And so the surrendering is kind of just like, you can look at that tree as an emotion, as an experience, as a pain. You're just letting go and surrendering back to the ease of following the flow of life, following the flow of truth that's here for all of us. And yeah, so with that, in terms of turning it into a learning experience, that's where we shift the context for you. But it's also to where the beauty of this technique that I love, which it's as it says in the blog, it's by another Dr. Richard Dawkins that wrote a book on it, is that not only do you feel the emotion, but then you bring in a higher one behind it. So I think a lot of people in a lot of practices are like, learn to be with your anger, learn to be with the sadness, the grief, whatever, but then once it's done, we don't give anything behind it. We don't give gratitude or appreciation or say prayers or give thanks for the people, places, experiences that led to that, even for the sensation itself. And so you just kind of recycle it and have to do it again. And so that to me is that learning opportunity you're talking about. It's learning that, yes, all humans have those emotions. They're not good, bad, right, wrong, whatever. They just are.
Right.
They're just signposts. They're just like on the road when you're driving. They're just saying, hey, there's sadness here. There's some anger here. Like maybe there's a boundary you need to set here. Maybe there's some heartbreak here. Maybe there's this. And how I teach it is that, yes, you want to learn to feel the emotion, but then when you move it, you want to learn to move it through creativity, through love, or through devotion. Because then you're being of service to the emotion. You're letting the emotion change not only your life, but the world. Because you're not just letting the anger move and spreading anger. You're saying, wait, this anger is given through my body as art. I made a painting with this. I created a dance with this. I went out and did this physical work with this. Or I did it through love to my partner, to my community, through a revealing of pain or heartbreak or grief, etc. Or in devotion to a practice, to a yoga practice, to a club, to whatever. So you learn to make the emotion a tool and to use the energy to channel it through your gifts to be of purpose and to be of service to yourself and to your family and your community. And so it takes it out of just feeling something into this big context of what's possible through the sensation of sadness in your body. It's no longer just, I'm sad and that means blah, blah, blah. It's, I'm sad. And can I show that, reveal that, make art with that, and play with that, and move with that, and inspire with that?
And so I would think not only would that help out in the moment and help make that moment much easier and quicker from a recovery standpoint, but for the future, the next time that emotion comes, that you know how to then work with it a little bit easier. Each time it gets more manageable and more easily aware to recognize it and know what your reaction should be.
Well, now I'll stop with the should. I don't like that word.
Oh, I don't like should. Huh?
No, shouldn't. We call it shoulding on yourself. Should on yourself. Because then that's like implying that there's a way to be. Where really all of it is in art. Like just because there's a method, but each time it's going to look different. Intensity will be different. You're right though that generally over time, if you keep replacing it with something different, it'll get easier and it will lessen and you'll start to transmute it into the goal it is. But there's no way for it to look. It's as unique as each individual, it's as unique as each moment. One moment it will look like a complete surrender to grace. One moment it may look like Kali, it may look like chopping the heads off unconscious people. Like that's all love. It's just what the moment asks for. So it's as diverse as the universe. It's completely unlimited what it can look like.
What should we use instead of should?
What you choose for it to look like.
Choose.
You get a choice in the moment of how to express it.
Empowerment. Yeah, we have that choice.
You have the choice. And yeah, and that's where like there's a lot of art. That's where that you can share that through different archetypes. You can share that like the woman thing. I can share that through my king. I can be grounded and calm and see the whole vision. I can share that as a warrior, really penetrating, getting something done, being a stand. I can share that as a lover. I can share that as a magician. There's lots of ways to be alchemical and transform it, to be a devotion to love, to be a stand for what's right, or to be this regal awareness of the divineness of the vastness of the kingdom.
Whoa, vastness of the kingdom, huh? Especially us being in the Chiefs kingdom here, that fits perfect.
It does.
In your blog, it was brought up, this was brought up around the same time that you mentioned John Wyland.
Yep.
And his methods. It seems very similar. You want to expand on the John Wyland aspect of it, or is it pretty much just
Yep. That was John Wyland's a teacher of mine, which we'll get to here, and that I then shared. I thought was really powerful. It was shared in context to the event with George Floyd and a way to be with that yoga thing. And so I thought I'd share that because I think with what we've been talking about with COVID, with these things up, with these fears, that there's a way to feel something and transmute it and make art with it. And his way of sharing that was very similar to that. It is like this: be with it, bring it to your heart, let whatever wants to be there be there. Let the moment, the emotion move you into an action. And whether that's bawling, whether that's caring for your loved ones, whether that's writing a post, creating a nonprofit, going out and being on the front lines, whatever that looks like. It's just a way, instead of, because a lot of the unconscious is when we see something that uncomfortable, we habitually close our energy. We close our heart, we close our throat, we close our breath, and that's what creates suffering. And then we're going around sharing suffering because we're not aware that we're closed based off of something we saw. So if we can learn to stay grounded, to breathe down into ourselves, to open our belly, to open our power, to open our love, to open our expression, and let that openness be what moves the moment, you get art, you get openness, you get consciousness, you get love, you get change. Because it's coming from a place of authenticity and truth instead of a place of closure, or fear, or habitual avoidance of the intensity of those moments. And that's what moved me about it. Is like, so for me, it was simply like, I just started bawling. His recommendation was to watch the video, to stay in your breath, to open and just let it move through you. And I sobbed for 5 minutes afterwards. And then that was enough. That was me doing my part in that moment to care for the collective, to let everything everyone's feeling move through my being to my capacity, and to be of service to healing that in whatever way I can. If I try it again, it could look wildly different, or maybe more.
So you're taking an elevated or an uncomfortable feeling and almost making it into a positive for you, like shifting it into a point of self-discovery to where you are a stronger person afterwards. So I think that does really resonate in today's times.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd like to ask you about community wellness. I'm going to quote here again, you talking about how we, the Wellness Club and yourself, share in our mission to provide knowledge, practices, space for revolution, unification of individual and community health and wellness. I just wonder, like, what does community health and wellness, what does that look like to you?
It's a good question, and it's a big one for me, because I think individual health and wellness and community health and wellness are pretty similar. They just once you get multiple people and organisms involved, it takes on a different shape. I mean, I think it's food, it's water, it's environment, it's play, it's creating space for people to be creative together, for people to express together, for people to be heard and seen and healed together. To have systems in place that, that their food is, they know where they can get healthy food, they know where they can get good water, they know what services are in their area, so if they're going through something intense, they know what community members they can reach out to. And to me that looks like community gardens, that looks like, one of my friends is creating a free music community where they get donated music, and then teachers donate their time to teach kids skills and to come in and they get to practice with those instruments and learn to see what that is. And building that in the community, because expression, creativity, especially I think in our world supports productivity and kind of shoes creativity. And so to me, I think, that revealing of spirit through music, through dance, through art, that's a part of community building. We have spaces where people come together to share their light, to share their love, to share their hurts, to share their shadows, to share their pain, done through good food, through awareness, through healthy context, through love and support.
Localized economies
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
I mentioned that to you and some of you folks watching, that the sense of community has just really been magnified and present these last few months. People feel, their favorite restaurant or their favorite bar or coffee shop that they can't go to anymore. They know people who have unfortunately lost jobs and were personally struck by this. Food supplies, we understand how those are working more, and we feel more drawn to our community's ability to provide those resources and be able to be self-sufficient in itself, the way we kind of started off about at an individual level being self-sufficient, but understanding how we are tied together with our local neighborhoods, with our local economies, and that the more that we can integrate with those, the more that we support people that we know and are friends with, or maybe our families with, or I would love to support a local farmer right outside of town more than I would love to support a farmer thousands of miles away in a different country that unfortunately has to put a lot of preservatives on his food to ship it here, et cetera, et cetera. So I feel that community sense is something that is really going to be one of the silver linings out of this, is people are going to look for ways to build up their community more, plug into their community more, and support their community more.
Absolutely.
I know we're a few weeks away yet of wrapping up some paperwork and things to get you officially on here, but you want to maybe speak to some of your services that you're going to offer? I know you mentioned that in your blog. Once you do start practicing here.
Yeah. So I do chiropractic sessions. My chiropractic is what's called a tonal technique with a little adjusting in it. The techniques are called flotrition and zone. It's about addressing the tone and tension of the spinal cord itself. So instead of looking at here's a subluxation, let me push that down, it's kind of looking at what is the overall stress and tension that your form is holding, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and how do I help you release that and drop into via breath, via awareness, via movement, how to really find the tone and tension and space that's ideal for your function. And then zone is about helping balance the 6 major systems in our body. So you got the glandular system, the elimination system, the nervous system, the digestive system, the muscular system, and the circulatory system.
All right.
And so we rebalance the communication between the organizational hierarchy in the brain and then the form and function of that, which is the organs, the tissues, the muscles, etc. So I offer those in 20 to 30 minute sessions. I also offer then
Pretty
a bigger...
quick then, so you can get that type of stuff done. It doesn't
Yeah.
need to take an hour or two.
It's shocking how relaxed and how much gets done in that time. People always even 10 minutes is good. But 20, 30 minutes, you go, you deep, you feel good, your breath comes back, you breathe deeper, you open up, like it's a reset for sure, as well as transformational. So, and then that opens up in a bigger context to what I call sacred touch body work. For those in 60 and 90-minute sessions, that then drops into more, including those two, but then we do more cranial sacral, and then what I consider just my personal brilliance. I don't have a name for it, but just this way of connecting and unwinding and finding the psycho-emotional component of what's there and helping you either dialogue with that, move that out, breathe that out, whatever. Those experiences are much more transformative. Deeper things come up, usually emotional to some degree. Just a deeper way of relating with one another is how I put it. Just because the time provides that. The time provides a deeper rapport. You get into your body more and you get to feel more, and that reveals more. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those sound pretty cool. I love the different time aspects there. Where could people go to get more information about you or about those services?
Yeah,
You want to mention your website?
You can go to my website, www.drzaclyons.com, or to my Facebook page. I have write-ups on all of that. And yeah, I'll also be offering a couple other things here. I do private and couples coaching. Private coaching I call self-love coaching. It's kind of in the vein we've been talking all through this, is that helping you recontextualize your life, helping you see your pains, your childhood, your physical body, your mental body, your work, your life, whatever it is, your relationship. Put it into a context that you can digest and change, really, and transform to help you find the way you feel limited or stuck or diminished, and empower you to become your own healer, your own life force, your own boss, your own lover, your own, et cetera, et cetera. It's this really deep journey into the ways you've learned to trap yourself, in essence, in a way of being and breathing that no longer works. And that's why you feel pain and suffering, is because it doesn't work, and that's the signal. And so I'm here to help you just explore that and change that in a way that's soft and loving, yet direct, and holds you accountable to yourself. So, and then my couples coaching is fun. It's not like we don't go through all the traumas and the dramas. Really, it's just I teach you new ways to communicate. Like, we're not going back and like, he did this 10 years ago. That does come up, but only as a way to like model the new communication styles. That's nonviolent communication and imago dialogue, to where we set a structure for the communication so that each person gets a chance to speak and be reflected on each side. So one person shares what they're going through, the other person says, so what I heard you saying was X, Y, Z. That makes sense to me because X, Y, Z, I can relate. If I experienced to do that, I would feel this, this, and this. And it generally just has people feel gotten and heard. And oftentimes when you do that in a relationship, most of those problems work themselves out, because now there's not the tension of you don't see me, or you don't feel me, you don't love me, whatever, I'm not good enough. And then the real fun part of that is then...
The real fun part? What's the real fun part?
The real fun part is then I teach intimacy skills. So I teach different types of touch. So there's a way to touch that is therapeutic, there's a way to touch that is healing, there's a way to touch that is just an awareness, and then there's a way to touch that's sensual, and then that's sexual. And so we go through, and because with your partner, so many of us get stuck in one or two types of touch. And so it really opens up the world of being able to walk in and request and be like, hey love, I could use some really sensual touch in my body right now. I really could use a therapeutic touch. Like, can you just come hold my heart or hold my hand and really just be of support to me? Or could you come and breathe with me? Could you do this? And I teach you how to feel the differences of what they're responding to, and what's opening their body, what's opening their breath versus what closes them. I teach you how to tussle with your partner. This is what John Wyman does.
How to tussle with your partner.
Yeah, so it's like when either you're male or female, when they're in their feminine and the storm is up, so they're in some anger, they're disconnected from their heart. It's how to use playfulness and awareness to evoke them back into their love. And so that can look like banter, like giving them a hard time, poking at them, saying something sweet, flirting with them in a way. It can look like walking up and scooping her on your shoulder and smacking her on the butt. You know, it could look like walking up and grabbing her and twirling her around and dipping her and looking deep into her eyes and telling you you love her. It's an art. There's infinite number of ways to evoke your partner. And then for the woman, it's more of like you learn to stomp or growl or come up and like use your love light, use your energy to bring the masculine back, whether that's using ass energy, using your body, using your love to evoke more consciousness. And so it creates what's called polarity, which is the desire that we have when we're attracted to each other, that desire to connect, that desire to go deeper in that connection. And so it teaches you how to let that not be something that's just like a mood versus something that's like, hey, I want to feel passionate with my partner. We know how to do this. I speak in this tone of voice, with this cadence, with this type of eye contact, with this devotion or this dialogue in my head about what I'm offering my partner, and that evokes this certain thing, and we learn to play and give and gift each other either dark or light or whatever energy in the moment that makes us want to, that helps us connect and reveal our love and our presence for one another, that leads to the type of friendship and relationship and love making that, as far as I'm aware, everybody desires, minus maybe a very small percentage of the population. So,
wow, it seems like it's almost like a formula for any varying relationship type, whether it be a friendship or a lover, or a partner, or maybe a superior, an elder, or something like that. It sounds like the ability to just have an equation of how to approach it in ways that you can navigate through adversity.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's a yoga. It's a practice. That's the way my teachers describe it, Zac Lyons and David Data, is it's a yoga. It's the yoga of sexuality. And so you're learning how to breathe, learning how to hold posture, learning how to move, learning how to hold a context and an awareness that brings the best out of your partner, and vice versa. And so there is an equation, but it's more like things to try, because what you do one time that works, the next time they blow up in your face. And so it is just an art. It's like, what is the moment asking for? How do I meet this moment the way it is versus like, I do this, this, and this. It's just like the equation though would be like, for man, you breathe, you ground, you bring your presence, you press out in the environment, and you respond. But how that looks every time is anyone's guess, and how that looks for each woman to get her to open is different as the design of a snowflake. They're all unique.
I love that about bringing out the best, in the person. That's certainly what we do here at the Wellness Club, bringing out the best of both your inner and outer beauty. I know there's a lot of friends that I talk to who have had difficult times in relationships and very successful, loving times, but those difficult times are tough, and they don't sometimes know how to work through those. I know they would love to hear about ways that they can bring out their best, so maybe they don't have regrets about, gosh, I wish I wouldn't have handled it in that way or said that. I can tell how that was counterproductive. So sounds really valuable, really beneficial.
It is. I'll just add with that last part that another part of that is teaching how to clean up, which is a big part of the relationship, how to authentically apologize, how to really truly do that. And the last part I want to add, because all of my clients in that realm have said the same thing of they were afraid to do it because they thought they were going to get dropped. Like, come in, all their shit's going to come up, and then they're just going to get left, and then they go home and don't talk for 3 days because there's this big thing. And one of my favorite parts of my practice is that at the end, with every session I've ever done, they leave kissing, holding hands, back in love, seeing each other again, because we don't just end it willy-nilly. Like, once there's a certain time, we bring you back together, you share what you loved about what each other brought to the session, you share what moved you about yourself from them, and it creates this, we end you on a high note. You crescendo when you leave instead of leaving scattered. I think that's a really poor coach, and just a really poor philosophy to leave people frazzled when they leave. you leave my sessions feeling your love for yourself and your partner, which to me is the whole point of being there.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Perfect segue into some closing statements here. Speaking of leaving, you know, let's. I want to ask you if there's any takeaway thoughts or final thoughts that you want to provide to people who are out there watching and definitely dealing with some of the adversity out there, of some main themes that you would want them to remember as they go and tackle those, kind of building off of what you just said there.
Yeah. Forgive yourself. Love yourself. Like, we're all human. We're all in this together. We're all having the same pains, the same trials and tribulations. They have different stories and different events that lead to them, but underneath it, we're all going through the same thing. And you know, and yeah, I'm here for you. We're here for you. But yeah, just forgive yourself and love yourself. Come back to that truth that you're okay. That there's people here that want to help you, and that there are people here that need your help. And so yeah.
And I would just add to not be fearful.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
do not let fear of anything consume your life or consume the processing of decisions that you make throughout each day, which, you know, it's been said we make thousands of decisions a day, a lot of them subliminally, of course, but do not allow fear to drive wedges into your natural ability to be the beautiful person that you are. Well, with that, I want to thank you so much, Zac, for joining us today, and thank you folks watching for joining us. We'll post this out to our sites, as I mentioned, kcwellnessclub.com, drzaclyons.com. That's ZACLYONS. Thanks, folks. Zac, thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday and a terrific weekend.